maybe lowers yours a little.
Now he's on top of the world, this guy.
There you go.
Okay, that's
Hey.
it.
Good?
Bello.
Good?
Peter looks on top in the Champions League.
Peter-
That's what I want to see.
Peter, just lower yourself a little bit. No, you
Nah.
can't, right? That's all.
All right. You guys ready?
Yeah. Go for it.
No, yours low. What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Serie A audio experience with IFTV. We got a lot to talk about today. We've had Champions League. We've had a crazy round of Serie A. I got stuck on a small chair today. It was not a good week for me. And also, we got Peter in a special shirt right now. Peter, what does your shirt say?
I think it says Varfanculo.
All the problems that we had with VAR. Inter was taken away. How many times was it? 2, 3, 4,
times.
5 times?
Let me ask you something. Is this shirt for sale?
The shirt is for sale right now. We only have a limited number, so anyone who wants it, you could go down in the description and get the Varfanculo. We're not giving you one yet.
I like how the color
gotta
is
wait.
black and white, you know?
This is a reverse too.
boy.
Jeez.
It's so black and white.
There's a reverse. There's multiple options. Multiple options.
Gotta be
But-
about Juventus.
We had to we had to give Peter the first one though, because this week after what happened with Inter, you guys want to start? Let's start with Inter.
They beat VAR though at the end of the day, right?
We'll start with the positive, which was Inter in the Champions League.
Oh boy, that was amazing.
Unbelievable match. Unbelievable.
Peter, what were you doing?
Let me set the
Okay,
foreground
so-
right now. Inter against Tottenham. A game that everybody was saying, all our friends over here, you know, they watch the Premier League, they watch Tottenham. Oh my God, Tottenham's gonna walk all over Inter. Tottenham's gonna walk all over Inter. 7 years, Inter have been out of the Champions League. The San Siro has been missing it for too long. Full stadium, beautiful night.
Coming off with a tie against Parma too, right?
Coming off a
Loss.
tie against
Lost
against Parma.
Wow, okay. Jesus.
And Inter showed to me their Champions League DNA. What we were doing when they Vecino, who came
Well,
in
if
clutch
everybody
again.
was looking at the Instagram stories, right? I was,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
was
right.
at work.
yeah.
But I have a lax office in the sense that I can watch some games. It was
Oh,
during
boy.
lunchtime, so I was able to watch it.
Lunchtime isn't 2 hours,
And-
Peter.
And yeah, I was excited. It was good to see, especially because the way Inter's been playing. You know, I was afraid that after 1-0 down, things could really crumble. But
Yeah.
they proved that, you know, we have to make sure that these 70,000 people in the crowd go home happy.
And look, at the end of the day, Icardi the debut for Inter in the Champions League with Handanovic, which is crazy. You think they're top players that they played first time, and look how they react.
Icardi comes through. Like, I mean, we were talking about it. We were
Yeah.
talking about it after. You know, Icardi will stay quiet like the whole match. But then when he gets his opportunity, he really knows how to finish it.
That was
First game in the
incredible.
Champions
Asamoah
League.
with the assist, right?
He's been waiting for a long time for that one. Okay, but we'll talk about the match for a minute because I know I disagreed. At least I know with you. I thought that in the first half, Tottenham was not that good. They didn't impress me. I was more impressed with how Inter played in that first half. I was expecting Tottenham to come out here and dominate. And I know that they didn't have their goalkeeper and Dele Alli, but come on, give me a break. They talk about this Tottenham like Tottenham's the best team in the world. So to me, I thought Inter did very good. Second half, there was a dip. There was a big dip. Tottenham took advantage of their one shot that they got, which was a deflection,
Well, it was
and
kind of a PS
Handanovic
goal.
could have
Yeah,
done
he
it,
made
could
a
have
meal
saved
out
it
of
to
it,
me.
so.
So I was not impressed with Tottenham. I thought that Inter played better the whole night.
I thought that Inter, they put a lot of pressure, high pressure, and they thought they were going to run out of in the second half. But listen, it's a great win for Inter, especially when it came in the last few minutes of the game. I thought that the game they were not going to be able to come back, but they did. Icardi scored a beautiful goal. I mean, he's criticized because they want him to participate more into the Inter, to come out of the area so that somebody else can go inside. But that's the way Icardi is. Icardi is a man for the area. He's a player that plays inside the area. He scored a beautiful goal.
Which was outside the area.
I don't know how he happened to be there because he's always inside the area.
Man inside the area was just ready to just shoot the ball like that on the fly from outside the
And
box.
they needed that.
He's
Inter
top.
needs that. I think, like we said with Inter, it goes up and down, up and down. You need to win 3-4 games maybe to get a little bit of the confidence and keep
Momentum,
the momentum to keep going.
Antonio's held back right now, but before he unleashes a little bit, I also want to say Vecino, the man of late goals.
Oh, yeah.
This guy, first of all, he's the one who got them to qualify for the Champions League with
Last
the late
season.
goal against Lazio.
I remember that.
And now, again, in a moment that, I mean, you couldn't need him more. This was a perfect win for Inter. Set the standard, the beginning in the Champions League, the momentum. Just hearing the roar of the San Siro, when Inter score and win the game,
It was incredible.
It was unbelievable. And then to see Tottenham walk off with a defeat, it couldn't have been better for me. So I was very, very happy. And this wasn't the game that I was most scared of. I was pretty confident in Inter. And this is almost why I wanted Inter in the Champions League, because I feel like they just have that extra push behind them where they know to believe, because while maybe the players have not been there, there's a lot of players who didn't play in the Champions League, there's a big history to the club, which is behind them. Antonio, what are you going to say?
I want to say a few things about Spalletti,
Of course.
my best friend. Spalletti is not really a coach that everybody says is a great coach. I'll tell you what's happening with Spalletti. If this guy here had hair on his head, he would have already lost it, because he got saved in the last 10 minutes. The last 5 minutes on the Tottenham game, and again the last couple minutes during the Sampdoria's game. Now, I'll tell you the reasons why. This Spalletti here, even though he portrayed himself like, this very quiet guy, that he never yells from the sideline, that guy is on fire inside. So what happened Sunday, it was the perfect display that he probably couldn't held himself anymore. So he went in front of the camera. I don't know what he did. I don't think he did.
He just
I didn't do
screamed.
anything.
I don't think
Yeah.
he deserved
Didn't do anything.
I don't think he
No,
deserved
it was
the week
ridiculous.
off,
What
but,
is that?
he's the type of guy that, it's not all the truth about what you're saying. I mean, it's not what we say over here, what you see is what you get. No, it's not that. Spalletti is what you see is what you don't get. Okay? So, here's the deal.
Can anyone translate that for me?
What he's trying to say is he might look calm and composed
But
on
he's
the
not.
outside, but on the
He's
inside.
I don't think he
Nah.
ever looks calm and
Yeah.
composed.
No,
He
it's never.
looks crazy.
Oh, no, not true. He
No?
wants to portray himself like he's this very quiet guy that he knows what he's doing.
I didn't get
Wait,
that
so you're
from
saying he
him.
doesn't know what he's doing?
I don't think so. He had a couple lucky episodes that have really determined the fate of his coaching career at Inter. Believe it or not,
Is it
was the
lucky
last
or is
10
it-
minutes. I think he's lucky.
think
He's
he's lucky?
lucky.
I don't
I
know.
found him lucky.
Were you happy for Inter though? You're happy that they beat
Oh,
Tottenham.
in Champions League, of course. Any team that is
Just
that
wanna
plays
make
for
sure.
Italy, I want them to move forward.
Respect.
Yeah.
What are you gonna say,
think-
Inter?
Inter,
Inter.
I think Gaetano had a good point. He said, like, we high pressed the whole first half. I think we got tired later on in the second half. And then for some reason, I guess the fans chanting and stuff like that gave the Inter the extra push to go on and try to win the game. And they eventually did. Skriniar was playing right
I was
back.
just gonna say
And
that.
he didn't have a great game. He got
Versalico was
burned.
out, right?
Versalico was
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
D'Ambrosio was out because he had the injury with Padma.
Yeah, injury.
So, I mean,
Yeah, I don't like him on the right back.
Yeah, he
I
didn't
don't like
really
him.
impress.
It was his first time there.
It's his first
Also-
Champions League game too.
Yeah, his first.
But still.
like I said, Inter right now they have to start winning a couple of games
Yeah.
in order for us to say, oh wow, look at them.
And
You know?
Asamoah has
Oh,
been
yeah.
He's
huge.
a fantastic player.
He's to me, he's been Inter's best player.
Oh, yeah.
Like he is that extra push.
They're signing
That
him,
just-
right?
Oh my God, unbelievable! No, their best player in general. I would
Skriniar-
say.
Skriniar
No,
goes
honestly,
there,
but
Skriniar
but
goes
you
there
see
too.
like Asamoah. There's sometimes where you could see even with D'Ambrosio or Sant'Ono or Nagatomo in the past where they get the ball and there's not a calmness amongst them. And as a fullback,
How are you gonna compare them though?
no, that's why I'm saying that it's a position that Inter really it
They
goes
don't-
unnoticed
yeah.
is what I'm saying.
No.
Asamoah gets the ball and he always brings the ball forward. He never loses it, and there's a calmness to his game that I think really makes Inter play well. Their midfield is still lacking though, like we knew, but at the same time, Inter's and they won a Champions League.
They
That's
power-
that's
Hey,
Power-
they're on the Champions League right now. Spalletti or no Spalletti. I gotta tell you to finish up with my point about what all the pressure that those coaches they have. Some of the coaches they can handle some of the pressure. Some other they don't. One of them is Spalletti. The other one was the guy that now is the biggest coach of Chelsea. Okay, that he left Naples because he couldn't handle the pressure of the San Paolo.
I
What do
mean,
you-
I'm telling
it's
you, let me
different.
finish. In Italy, we have three major testate sportive. One is the Corriere dello Sport, one is la Gazzetta dello Sport, and then there is Tutto Sport. Okay? So, and every other non-testate of the sport, if you look on the back, the last 3 or 4 pages, they have 3 or 4, Il Sole 24 Ore, La Repubblica, Corriere della Sera,
okay,
you know,
okay.
you
Name
name
them
it.
all.
You name it, okay? So all they have 3 or 4 pages where they dedicate a little section to the Formula One, a little section to the tennis if we're moving forward. All the rest is about soccer. So
That's what it is.
that's what but in Italy, we breathe, we live, we eat, and we digest soccer 24
That's what
hours
it
a
is,
day.
yeah.
Some of those coaches like Spalletti, they're trying to portray themselves like these big guns, but they are not. They are not.
I don't think he's ever done
Sarri
anything
was
wrong
the
or
other
said
one.
anything
Listen to me,
wrong.
I'll tell you the reasons why Sarri couldn't handle the pressure. That's why he went to London to play
It
over there.
wasn't-
Because of
it
there,
was
we
De
don't lose,
Laurentiis.
nobody's going to kill you. Nobody's going to kill you in London, okay? So that's why Sarri looks very relaxed. He's not smoking outside as much as he used to. With
Because
the
this is not Italy.
They
Oh,
sacked
they get away
they
with
sacked
that.
Conte the
So,
season after.
As there is
He won
a
the league.
in Italy when you go to the game, and when the game is over, you're still talking about the game. The Monday, the first thing that you do at the bar while you're drinking coffee, you're talking about the game. So that's why Spalletti, he knows that it's been talked about, it's been watched through the microscope.
It's not his
Whenever-
first rodeo.
Whenever
This
you're on
place is
whenever
gonna-
you're on a big club,
course.
the coach is always
There's
going to be the
nothing new
one.
with
That's
this.
what I'm
screwing.
saying,
Especially in
but-
Italy, usually, if in the past Italian coaches 3-4 games, if they don't have
Yeah,
a good
exactly.
record, they're out.
But that's
They
why I
get sacked.
respect coaches like Conte. Conte's always yelling from the sideline. He's
It's
always
different-
directing
different
the-
style.
You can't blame.
Different
Look
style.
at Ancelotti. You're gonna come. Ancelotti doesn't say a word, so you're gonna.
Sir
he's
Alex
not as good
Ferguson.
because he doesn't scream.
Never said a thing.
Ancelotti is not. It's not that wide, but it's not the excessive
Anyway,
like Conte. It's right in the middle.
Let's keep this going because
Right.
otherwise we'll go
Let's-
on this for a long
let's
time.
move on to
last
it.
thing
Okay.
about Sampdoria. We got to talk about the
Yeah.
game against Sampdoria. No, same thing.
They got a late winner.
Late
Yeah.
winner. Sampdoria, I thought was playing pretty good too, pretty well. Quagliarella had a few chances. It was a little bit back and forth, but it's also one of those games that I know we were talking in our group message where Antonio was sending a message saying, "Oh, Spalletti, all he can do is win it late." And you waited, you were patient, and you waited a day, and then you said it's better to win it late than it is to lose it late or lose all 3 points late. Which
It's so true. It's funny.
I was pissed
leave
when,
some
when
silence.
they tied the game, but it is what it is. I mean, AC Milan still need to register the defense. One thing I still do not understand why this Caldara is not playing on.
he played. He played.
Not
He played in for Europa League.
on the but not
Yeah,
on the
he's saying
Campionato.
He played in Europa League.
The thing is, with that game, there was 3 disallowed goals altogether. Inter got 2 and Sampdoria got 1. The funny thing is, when
Yeah.
Sampdoria got it at the end, the Frel took off his shirt because he celebrated.
got a yellow
And then they
card.
took it off and he got a yellow card for
What do
taking
you
off his
think?
shirt.
What do you guys think
I
about?
was
Did you see the
dying.
VAR incident?
Yeah,
Inter?
yeah, I saw. I think
You have a level head, so you
yeah,
should say.
they went back. They went way back to
Yeah.
I think maybe 20 seconds to
First time ever they
disallow
did it.
the
Yeah.
goal because I believe the offside was on the foul from the outside of the area when they put the ball in,
Yeah.
and then they kept playing, then they crossed the ball and then they score like 20 seconds later. So they went back.
It's
What do you think
ridiculous
about
how
that?
late.
What do you
Uh,
think about that?
No, I think I don't think it's got to be a time. Like you have 10 seconds to check. If it was offside, hey, it was offside, and you need to call them. What they do is as soon as the VAR is looking at everything, so as soon as they realize that on that pass he was offside, I guess they call the referee and. There's always a few seconds between the referee and they have to watch it, and they have probably 3-4 people there watching, and everybody's got their input. I think at the end, if you make the right call, that's what's important.
Well,
Yeah,
a lot
to
of
make
Inter
the-
fans
to
we've
make
been
the
getting
right
so
call.
many messages about that, saying that VAR hates them. But to me, listen, relax. At the end of the day, it goes both ways. We could see, there's many cases you watch Torino, they got screwed. Fiorentina, they get screwed. Juventus, they get screwed. Every team, at the end of the day, you get certain ones that go your way and certain ones that don't go your way. If you want to blame anything, it could be the system for the way that it's used. It does make mistakes, and we are seeing more mistakes this year than anything. Your eyes are boiling over here.
But that's what I've been
But I
saying.
think he's.
for-
I think that.
No,
I
but
think
I've
that
been
he's
saying
right
all
though.
along.
I think that
think-
he's right though about that.
I listened to Rizzoli last night on Domenica Sportiva talking about the VAR. So after we finished the games, he made some very good points about the
Okay.
VAR. So if you want, I can point that
perfect.
out.
All right, so we'll save the VAR talk then. Brozovic also after this match, he said that he thinks that this is going to be the turning point to Inter season. Only a few games in, but some of these games they do give you that extra push to continue going. We know Inter today, if you're watching this, they're playing Fiorentina, so it's going to be a huge test against Fiorentina. That's
They play
very
in
strong.
Firenze? They play in
No,
They're gonna
in
play
Milan.
I just want
In
to
Milan.
throw one thing in for the Champions League. Ed did, a former Inter player that's in China right now. He said with a stadium like the San Siro, Inter can even beat Barcelona. That's like a strong thing.
Yo, the San Siro gives you
I
that
got
extra
chills
push.
from that just because it was amazing.
They-
That atmosphere is incredible.
Well,
That's the mentality you need.
That's
you know,
what- yeah,
that-
that's
you
what I'm
know,
saying.
you're playing on a storied club like Inter, Milan, Juventus. These are clubs that in the past have been in a lot of Champions League battles.
Winning it all.
And
Yeah.
you know have fought for Scudetto race and stuff like that. You know, this is the time now that these players they step up to the plate, and you know games when you can win late versus Tottenham and versus Fiorentina. Versus
Valencia? Talking about?
Valencia.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah. So I mean, these are things that give the Italian club something extra to play for. And now, hopefully, Inter they're on the right track. You know, it's always better to
Big
win
one. Yep.
than to tie or to
To win dirty and
You know
But you know
what
what? I don't see Peter the fluidity of the game.
Yeah.
Of Inter. They're
Well,
just not.
I
they're not,
agree
they're
with
not
you.
fluid. It's just
That takes
You know,
time.
they're just grinding it. Just.
No, but you know what?
They go strong with
Going
the
to
ball.
that point, like Spalletti's been on Inter already for a year or so. Even though there's some new faces, you would think like the style of play
Would be more
would
Not
be a lot
identifiable.
more advanced than what it is now. And I still see like there's a big space from like midfield to strikers. It looks like it's gonna be the same type of play. You're gonna give it to whoever's playing on the wings,
Yeah.
either Candreva, Politano,
Yeah.
Perisic, and they're gonna cross.
Yeah.
And they're gonna cross. There's never like triangolazione. There's never like 1-2 on top of the box.
I like
with a
AC
shot.
Milan the way they play, but unfortunately they cannot win the
Yeah.
game. But
So-
AC Milan's game, it's one at the top of the Serie A. You have the, you know,
Higuain's a big part of that
So,
too.
I mean, we don't concede much, Inter.
That's true.
We don't concede much, but it also hurts the style of play.
right.
But with the Inter, Icardi cannot be the one scoring all the goals.
Yeah.
So you need the midfielders to score goals. You need Perisic to score goals. You need Candreva to score
Nainggolan.
goals.
Alda.
You need Nainggolan and you need Positano,
Politano.
Politano to score the goals. If those guys are not scoring, you know, Inter is not going to go anywhere.
They can
'Cause
just double up.
this
on
is
the
what
shot,
happened
yeah.
to the big teams.
Sure.
If you see all the big teams, they have those offensive midfielders that they go inside the area and they score goals.
Yeah. Good
It's
point.
more than one
Let's
player.
let's
yeah.
go on. Let's move on to the next Champions League match.
Like Jack Bonaventura. You see the goal that he scored?
Let's go to the next Champions League
Let's
match.
talk about Champions
Juventus Valencia. A match where in the first few minutes, actually before we get there,
Crazy.
Juventus won 2-0 over Valencia. A match which, to be honest, I expected to be a lot tougher for Juve. You know, a lot of my friends have told me that Valencia is going to be great. They're going to play beautiful football. The match was in Valencia, and Juventus played, 80% of the match down with 10 men. And I don't think that Valencia really even had a shot, if I remember
They had
correctly.
a bad start of the season for La Liga. I'm pretty
I mean,
sure.
Valencia did not impress me at all. It was more of Juventus. And to be honest with you, I saw a good mentality from Juventus in the Champions League. It was probably the best match that I saw this season of Juve, and one of the best in the Champions League. There was a certain confidence around Juve, which even as a Juve fan that I've never seen in the Champions League, really. Because I feel like we're always struggling a little bit to really get that goal, and we looked calm. We looked like we had an idea and a vision, and we were playing really well. And then, of course, the whole Ronaldo situation happened, which I guess we'll talk about right now. For anyone that doesn't know, which I'm sure everybody saw the situation, Ronaldo got into a little ruffle with Muriel. Murillo, sorry, not Muriel. With Murillo, and then grabbed him by the hair while he's on the ground, gave him a little love pull, and the German referee, the German linesman gave him, not the linesman, the guy right behind the goal, told the referee, they actually had some subtitles. I don't know if you guys saw that. The main referee did not see what happened, but the guy behind the goal was saying, listen, I saw it. He said, it's a red card. And the referee was like, are you sure? He's like, you sure? And then in the end, they gave Ronaldo a red card.
But why didn't he look at the VAR?
There's
But
no
there's
VAR
no
in
VAR in
Champions
Champions
League.
League.
So, listen, very simply, to me, this is barely even maybe at the most, at the maximum, a yellow card. They asked Del Piero too. They said, and Del Piero's like, listen, he's like, in my time, he's like, this is never even called for a foul. He's like, so maybe it's a yellow card. Everybody?
Yeah,
Opinion?
I agree. That was so
No,
bizarre.
I agree. That was not a red card. I mean,
No red card, not even a yellow.
You give him a yellow, but
Yeah,
For
maybe-
Antonio to
yeah,
say
yeah,
this.
Definitely, definitely.
I mean, as much as I don't like Cristiano Ronaldo, I mean, I don't like. He's a great player, but he's not deserving a red card for something like that.
That was
Yeah,
ridiculous. That was ridiculous.
It just ruins the game. You know, you would think that this referee, actually, I was going to say that with the experience of a referee like this referee was also sent home in the World Cup for making a mistake in Switzerland's match. And they didn't let him referee any more World Cup games for a big mistake that he made in the World Cup.
No more Champions League games either.
So
right?
this guy's screwed for the Champions League too.
Oh,
But bad mistake, and I think the way that you handle it, if you don't really see it, and I guess you could say, you know, the guy behind the goal saw it. If you don't really see it, I think that you can't give a red card and try to really shift the outcome of the match. But at the end of the day, Juventus did win the match, which is, you know, was looked over in the end. And I think that over their past two games with Valencia and with Frosinone, we've seen a Bernardeschi that is doing really well. He's trying to play in this new position with Allegri. And, you know, we had a lot of concerns about Bernardeschi. But what do you guys think about Champions League and overall?
But why don't you talk about the fluidity of the game? It's not there yet. You get all of
Against
those-
Valencia, it was there.
I think Juve.
I thought it was there against
Compared to
Valencia.
recent years, Juve are extremely scrappy in the group stages. But yeah,
Listen,
like Marco said, there's a lot of confidence in their
Juventus
game.
used to be, you need to win games 4-0, 3-0.
No, you don't. No, you
Come
don't.
on.
You know,
No, you
the
don't.
fluidity is not there for all the money that you have and the superstar that you have, you employ on that you put on
yeah,
the
but
field.
Allegri's style has never been the
Allegri
fluidity
style.
of
I
the
don't
game.
know about this guy
The
here.
point is-
That's the
the
reason
point-
why I don't think he's gonna ever win a Champions League. This
I
guy
mean, they
here.
made it to the finals 2 out of 3 years.
Yeah,
It's
well,
not
that's
like
why he
they
lost
haven't
all the
done
time
anything.
because he doesn't.
He won against Real Madrid and Barcelona too. You know.
But the thing
Anyway.
is, Juventus' strength is their defense. Let's face it.
No,
You know,
100%.
the ability of scoring one goal and
and
maintaining
all
a
the
lock,
score
yeah,
like that.
and holding the score 1-0. But then also now you add all these players, all these depth. So now Khedira goes down, boom, Emre Can comes in.
They
Or,
got, yeah,
whoever,
exactly. They
you
got a
know,
whole
Bernardeschi
second team on the
come in.
bench.
And
Exactly.
you know Bernardeschi in the whole Champions League was running up and down,
Yeah.
up and down.
He's such a
defending.
great impact sub. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, the whole idea of the Juventus mentality to win, and then also even Cassano used to say that they're soldiers, right? That's Juventus. That's Juventus. You know, they make sure that their point is across, that they're gonna win, and that's it. And Pjanic, 2 penalties. You know, it's
Yeah. He
Yeah, I think-
did it calmly.
I think that
Perfectly
second penalty was a little bit of a makeup call for the. I think he went inside the, he went inside the locker room.
Well,
He saw that it wasn't a
he
red
made
card,
up
and
for it, right?
it was
Well,
light.
They
It was
gave-
light.
No, he kicked him in the face. No.
No,
Yeah,
not that
No,
one.
no,
Not
no,
that
no,
one.
no,
That was the
no,
first
first
one.
He
So
got
The
a
first
yellow.
one.
He got a
Yeah.
yellow card for that too.
How he's
That
given
should have been
a
a
yellow
straight
card.
red for that.
You know, he kicked Cancelo in the face. The Valencia,
high
and he
boot
gave
to
a
that
yellow card
face.
for that.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was ridiculous. That
and
was,
Ronaldo's ban is still not out, but it's expected to be one game.
One
I
game?
don't see
Which
more
is-
than that.
What
Yeah,
about
it's just
one game on top of the fact that it was thrown out, or just
Yes, yes,
the
one
game.
suspended?
No,
It will be
one more
suspended
game.
for the game that it was thrown out.
no, the next game,
one.
the next
next
Champions
game is
League.
gonna-
Yeah.
That's how it is. Red card.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think about the red card, the game in general?
No, like I told you, I don't think it was a red card. He didn't deserve to go out of the game. I think Juventus did a very good job. I think Bernardeschi is learning from Allegri. We also saw it in the game on that he played this weekend. He did very well, and when he came into the game, he changed the game against
I agree.
Frosinone. So you need to with Juventus, you need to listen to your coach, and you need to realize what does the coach want from me. And I think that he's learning, and that's what Allegri says. He's learning a lot since he came in. He's maturing, and he's making a difference. He's making a difference in the game when he comes in. I thought it was going to take him longer than this. I hope that he continues on this level. If he does, I think it's going to, even though there are some other great players on the bench,
Dybala.
and it's going to have Dybala on the bench. There are other, Quadrado is a wing, which is putting him on fullback, so to give him some time.
Douglas Costa.
Douglas
Mandzukic,
Costa. There's a lot of
there's a lot.
great players there, and he's going before them. So
Is Bernardeschi
So,
play pretty
good
much
job.
the role of a Marchisio on
No,
the
he's a
position, or
winger.
just a little bit further on the right wing?
no,
He's
he's
a
he's
wide-
on the wing. He's on the wing.
But I
And
see
then,
that he comes on
yeah,
the middle
no,
all
no,
the
yeah,
time.
then-
He's
then
almost
it-
like as a
He
mid-sala.
cuts inside. It's
Yeah.
just,
Then he will
you don't know.
cut. Then he will cut inside. But he goes wide, and then once he gets the ball, if he wants to cut inside on that goal that he scored, he came inside, then he took
Yeah.
a shot and he scored. But he starts from. He could play that position, you know. But right now is starting wide, and then he comes in.
There was okay. We'll talk about the Frosinone match because that was an exciting one actually. I mean, Frosinone, 11 guys behind the ball the whole match, but you know, it didn't really expect too much from Frosinone. It was a very interesting one, especially for us. We had our guys over there that I always talk about on our corner, who used to be Real Madrid fans. Now they're Juventus fans. I was with them when Ronaldo scored the goal, and they were going crazy. But I found it interesting that the kid, you know,
What
he
minute was when Ronaldo scored?
80th,
82nd.
seven,
Yeah,
something.
81st.
Listen,
Yeah, 9 minutes from the end.
After 80 minutes on
Okay, let me say it. Let me say why. So it's good because look, the kid was there, and he's like, when Ronaldo used to play against Leganes, he goes, used to be 5 goals. He's like, isn't Frosinone last place? But you know, his dad was telling him, listen, the Italians, they used to have Gentile that they used to call a butcher. He goes, these guys are ingrained to defend and know how to defend. So I think you do see that a lot more in Italy, even though Frosinone never scored a Serie A goal this season still. They're in 0 goals. But you do see that it's tougher. It's much tougher.
Not easy.
That you're not going to just, you know, run all over. Even if you're the best player in the world, one of the best players in the world, you're not going to run over these defenses. And I think Molinaro put Cristiano Ronaldo to the test. You know, he's giving him a lot of hits. So it's a good show for Serie A too, that Frosinone, it took them a long time. But I think that the goal was coming, and this is typical Juventus, where, you know, even into the, I was telling them, when you play against Juventus, you need to play 96 minutes. Not 90, not 95. You need to play 96 minutes because they always seem to pull through. And that's what they did. And these are huge points.
I think going back to Ronaldo and talking about the tough defense, yeah, there are tough defense. But he gets the chances. I mean, he's got the chances to score the goals. And he's in a position where in the years before, he would have finished.
He buries them. man.
But now, you know, he'll get a ball and he try to volley.
And
The
they block it, yeah.
and no,
Right
the
up.
ball will
Right
go,
up.
you know,
Further.
will go, you know, all the way up and he had nobody in front of him. It's just that I believe is a little bit
Tense. I think the
tense.
pressure is getting to him.
Yeah, it's
too.
a little bit
Everybody's
tense.
expecting him to
You
score every week.
He's
and,
in a new league. He wants to try. He's trying so hard.
That's the
To
problem.
make a good
A-
impression.
and when he tries too hard, when he gets that volley, which before he had that confidence and relaxed, where he used to hit it on the volley and score, now he's a little bit trying too much,
It's stiff.
and the ball is going to the sky.
It's a
But
stiff
I
one.
think once he scores a couple more goals, I think then it's gonna. He also trying to show his teammates, you know, that he is the best player, that all the money that he's getting is worth it. So sometimes he's trying too hard. And one other thing I wanted to say is about Dybala. Now, Dybala didn't do anything in this game. But they asked Allegri after the game, you know, what did you think of Dybala? He goes, the kid played great. He played for the team. He was coming back. He goes, maybe he didn't do too much inside the area, but he helped the team. And I never thought about it because the first thing that I said was Dybala didn't do anything. And I thought about what Allegri said, and this is what the coach wants. The coach wants him to play for the team. It doesn't always have to be, you know, that he has to score it, but he has to sacrifice himself, which he might not understand the concept of what Allegri wants. I mean, if I was the one, I would try to put him as closer to the goal as possible because, you know, he can score. He can score goals. But is he a forward? No, he's not really a forward. Is he a second forward? Maybe. So then when you put him in midfield and he's too far away from the goal,
He's out of place.
is that a play? So, but Allegri liked it. I think that's the most important thing.
You know what I wanted to see, Gatan? I want to see Juventus facing Inter or AC Milan or Napoli or some of those.
It'll happen.
You know,
next week is Napoli.
Okay, so then
It's gonna
we'll
be a
see.
good one, right?
We'll see
Napoli Saturday.
if Juventus is going to keep winning. I mean, I think it's going to
They're-
come.
they're-
The stop is going to come soon because this year the quality of the teams are pretty much much higher
Juventus is
than the last year. So we'll
every
see.
game 100% win. You know, all the league games and Champions League. And if you talk about that, I think only Bayern and Liverpool are the only other 2 teams in Europe to win Champions League and all their league
What about
games.
Chelsea? Did they win last
No,
week?
Chelsea
Tied.
tied.
They
Chelsea tied.
Against West Ham.
What
And your boy
happened?
Mourinho tied.
Jersey.
But anyway, before we go on, also Chiellini, he ranked his way into the league leaderboards for Juventus, 477 appearances. He goes on top with Scirea, Del Piero, and a lot of other
He's
legends.
tied with Zoff, right?
No, he's one above
One
Zoff.
above Zoff?
He up Zoff by one. But anyway, let's talk about Roma. Go to Champions League first, 3-0 against Real Madrid. Just to be blunt, I wasn't really expecting too much more from Roma. They're at the Bernabeu. Zaniolo, who is 19 years old, never made his start in Serie A, never made his debut. He was called up 2 weeks ago to the Azzurri for the first time. He made his Champions League debut. Some people saying, I saw the newspapers, they were saying that it was a message from Di Francesco to the club saying, look who I have to play because you sold players. But either way, he wasn't bad. He wasn't bad for a debut. But I mean, Roma as a whole, the defense is completely open. Peter, you were here for the game when we were watching it, and all we kept saying is the amount of gaps in the defense is
Unacceptable.
like Roma last year.
Even with Manolas?
Even with Manolas,
Oh, boy.
it was not good. That was a horrible game to watch.
Yeah, it was tough. Definitely tough on the eyes because Di Francesco right now, he's not doing so good. Roma's not doing so good. They haven't found the rhythm. And to me, they haven't replaced the players that left adequately. They got below par players to replace Nainggolan, to replace Struman, to replace Allison. And it's just not pulling through. They're not getting those results that they need to. Their defense isn't the same. Their midfield isn't the same.
No.
And Dzeko is not as confident as he was last year.
I thought the character
it's-
also
it's
in the
very
midfield,
tough.
like we saw, because we were saying this, the midfield. I mean,
It was invisible.
Like,
There's
What
a
happened
hole.
with De Rossi and Florenzi? So,
Florenzi was right back.
Yeah.
But in the midfield, I feel like Roma these past 5-6 years, they've been known for having such a strong midfield that would dominate the play.
Yeah,
Struman was a
yeah.
very physical character.
could pass
De
that.
Rossi's a physical character. Nainggolan was a physical character who used to go up and down. So you used to see a Roma that would, even if they weren't as good as the team that they were playing against, they would really,
fall.
really
They'd
fight.
break their bones.
And
so you
also,
don't
not
pass
just
them.
the midfielders going up, because Nainggolan scored a lot of goals going up, but even helping out back. And I think that was a big thing that I saw in this match against Real Madrid.
And James Pallotta actually said after the match, he just said, "I'm disgusted." He just said
that was
straight
actually
up
no,
like
that was after they lost to Bologna. He
Oh,
said
it was
that.
Bologna. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
and then
I gotta say, the
'Cause they
Champions
lo-
League, if
they
you think
lost.
Real Madrid had numerous chances.
Yeah.
They could
Yeah,
have scored
they-
much
It was-
more than
they
just
didn't look
3-0.
inspired though. Roma.
But Roma was in the first half until
Yeah, I
the
know.
last and they scored the free
I
kick
know.
goal. And then pretty much the gates
Yeah,
opened
yeah.
up.
listen,
I
a
mean,
lot of those
they got-
games, like Peter said, it's just psychological. Once you lose your grip on the game, then
It's
the
tough.
first goal, and then you get the seconds, and then if you're not strong enough to fight back with your character, then you
That's
lose.
yeah. You lost the
your
game right in your
mojo.
hands.
But I
What were you
think
gonna say,
most,
Peter?
most teams in Bernabeu they would lose. The only thing is, Real Madrid is definitely better than Roma.
Yeah.
The quality of players, the style of play at the Stadio
players
Bernabeu.
that
So
they have
and
are
Roma's not doing so
No.
good this year.
no.
So I mean, Di Francesco's on the hot seat. Roma right now they're lost. I have to say,
Yeah.
losing 2-0 to Bologna.
Giving them their
Unacceptable.
first win
Who
of
they
the
play
season.
next, Marco?
I'll check, but either way, before we say that, Pippo Inzaghi got his first win,
First win.
but against a Bologna who
And
Bologna
they got their
has
first goal. They haven't scored a goal Bologna before the Roma game, but then they got 2 goals
Yeah.
against Roma.
Roma fan. What do you think about Roma?
No,
in
I
Champions
mean,
League?
Roma against Real Madrid. I saw Real Madrid here at the MetLife. Real Madrid is another level.
They played Frosinone.
I don't criticize Roma for losing against Real Madrid. They won the last 3 Champions League. I mean,
You can accept that. It's-
no, I can accept that. There's no
Okay.
criticism about Roma there. What I criticize is in the Campionato, in the Championship. I mean, you playing against Bologna, and they look really bad. And Pallotta might be upset about it, but what did you do? You sold 3 of your best players, and I think now. I mean, the second goal against Bologna, there was nobody in the back.
Yeah.
I mean,
Completely
the
defense.
guys started
Counterattack,
the counterattack right outside their own area,
But
And there was nobody in the middle. I mean, the guy, he went straight into the middle by
20, it
himself.
was like 20 yards, no
So,
one was there.
I heard what De Francesco said after the game, and
What did he say?
oh my God, he goes, I'm going to get 11 players, 11 players that want to play this game, and that's who's going to play next week. In other words,
Against
there
Barcelona.
are some players that
Not
that
buying his.
right, they're
Crazy.
not playing, and they're not even put out.
What a turn
So-
of events.
Or maybe they're
So-
not buying his philosophy too, Gaetano.
No, at one point now I think that they're not even running. The way I understood, they're not even running.
Wow.
So those guys, they're going to be out. So it would be interesting to see the next game. I think you're going to see a lot of new faces. But if Roma wants to go forward, the Roma has to they have to support De Francesco, because if Roma doesn't come out for De Francesco
Yeah.
and support him, there's no more team.
Yeah.
The team is finished.
That's a good point.
I just want to throw also what Diego Perotti said. This was before the game. He said, in football, the easiest solution is to blame the coach and send him home because you can't sack 25 players. It's not right.
Yeah, we
So
see
he
that a
said
lot
that
in Italy
was-
too. Obviously, in Italy, we were talking about this. Let me remind you. I remember, I brought it up because Roma fans were writing to us. This was before they lost to Real Madrid and before they lost to Bologna. Roma fans were already upset. They were already talking about Di Francesco out, which obviously I don't agree with. They're going into Retiro right now, which, they're just going to go into like a training camp. They said that the newspapers are saying that, they're behind Di Francesco right now. How long that faith lasts, who knows? But things in Italy can shift very quickly. We were talking about last week, they're talking about Inzaghi getting sacked if he lost another game. People Inzaghi, of course. Now he wins. First time Bologna beat Roma in 14 years. This guy, he was on top of the world. People were so happy with.
That's Italy.
That's Italy.
But
You're
no,
winning,
this is the
you're
reason
good.
why I
You
was
lose,
talking
you're
about the pressures that all of those coaches they have to play in Italy. Spalletti was almost, he needed a
Who said this?
diaper
Diego
if he
Perotti?
didn't win the game against,
Right.
against Sampdoria. So what happened is, Di Francesco is on the hot seat. Di Francesco, to me, is one of the best coaches that we have in Serie A. But unfortunately, if the points are not there,
I think that he is very smart, this Di Francesco.
I think he's
And
gonna stay. They're gonna keep him.
when you make some changes and things don't go your way, and they look at Di Francesco, oh, he's not a good coach, and then I'm going to make another point about making a lot of changes. But it's interesting that the easiest solution is to blame the coach and send him home, because you cannot send
Yeah, 25
you
players.
can sack
home.
25
Yeah.
players. So the players know that. So if you have 3, 4, 5 players that don't like the coach, on the next game, hey, we lose this game and Di Francesco is out.
Yeah.
That's totally the wrong message to send.
Yeah.
When Sir Ferguson used to coach, and they knew that Sir Ferguson was not going to go home.
True.
There was going to be, if you didn't play good, you're going to be one of the players that went home. Even if your name was Beckham, he didn't care.
Yeah.
You were going to go home because you didn't play good and you didn't give 100%. Here, the attitude is, hey, maybe Di Francesco is going to go home. And there was another thing that happened when Sacchi was coaching at AC Milan, and it was at the beginning, and he was not doing good. They were losing a few games. So it was one of those situations where, hey, you lose a couple of more games and the coach is going to be out. You know what the Berlusconi did? He got everybody in the locker room and he said, this is your coach, okay? You better respect him because he's going to be here and you guys are going to go home.
Wow.
That's why.
And that was the game that turned around because they knew that Sacchi was going to stay and they were going to go home, and then they started playing.
Wow.
So,
And
Gaetano, in your
this was
opinion,
documented.
who's not
Great
doing
point.
the job, quote unquote, on the Roma right now? Who's not really running? Who's not really fighting for the
That's
team?
hard to say.
What do you mean that's hard to say?
It
You
is
watched
hard
the
to
game. I
say.
didn't watch the game. If I would have watched the game, I would tell you one by one which one
Antonio
is,
loves calling
I
players
know.
out, though.
you know.
As a whole, I just want to throw one thing out
Yeah.
here. Right now, Roma are winless in their past 6 games in all competition. 6 games they haven't won, which is unacceptable for a Champions League team.
All I'm gonna say is that the fans are against everything. They're against the management. They're against the coach. They're against the players. It's not a great time. But we did kind of predict this a little bit earlier on in the transfer season. We were saying, listen, don't get your hopes too high up.
Well, that's the thing. I think the fans are upset. They're losing all their top players. You know, you're selling. You know, 1 year it's Salah, next year it's Allison.
But they
Two
didn't
guys
sell
are
them, Peter.
And
those
Angle
guys,
Line.
those
They're
guys-
forced to sell.
they were
That
forced to
price
sell.
you sell.
Or
Especially
somebody
Not for
like
Salah.
maybe not
Not for
Salah,
Salah, but he
also
wanted to
70
go.
million for a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
So I mean,
It's
the
more
whole
of
thing is-
Nainggolan and those guys.
Well, also Nainggolan had problems with
That's
the
what I'm
Roma
saying.
management.
That's what
with
I'm
stuff
saying.
Like that with the
Yeah,
videos.
exactly.
So I mean, Di Francesco's got a lot to work on. The only thing is, unfortunately, once the players give up on you or you lose the locker room, it's hard to get them back.
Extremely
So
hard.
you know the management could say all they want. Oh, we have Di Francesco's back. But if the other players, you know, if the leaders, maybe like a De Rossi or something like that, if
He's the
make
one.
sure he's able to take,
He's
I'm
the
not
one
sure.
that's just gonna get everybody.
Yeah,
over there
he's
and,
gonna have to
mhm.
support Di
And maybe Totti
Francesco.
too. Totti comes down from
Yeah.
the bench over
But
there. I mean,
remember,
from the,
guys,
from
there's
the tribuna and gets into the locker room and says, "Hey guys, this is
Didn't
the."
De Rossi say something too, Marco, about Difra?
I don't
No.
remember.
So that's interesting to see. And then also there's a guy named Conte
Yeah, he
that
did
could.
say.
I don't think
I
he'll
think
go to
he'll
Roma.
Oh boy,
Conte
get me
will-
all excited
he
over
won't go
here.
to Roma.
Conte will not take
Why
Roma.
not?
I don't think
Conte
he'll go
will
to
not take
Roma.
That's
Roma.
what
I don't
Ancelotti
think-
said with
I don't think
Napoli
they have
that he
enough
wasn't
money
gonna
to
go.
pay
Look what
Conte.
happened.
You really
Catania, what do you
Nah,
think?
I don't
Conte
think
will
so.
go to Roma?
Conte's
Yes or
gotta pay
no?
his rent. He's
Guys,
gotta give you the
Conte-
job.
Conte's not gonna go to Roma.
What
What do you mean? He's getting paid by Chelsea at sitting home.
Oh, that's nice.
Guys, let's move on. Let's go to this is the game that I told you guys before. This was the one that I was most nervous about in the Champions League. To be honest, I wasn't nervous about Inter Tottenham. I was confident in Inter's ability. I wasn't nervous about Juventus Valencia. I mean, I already knew that Roma was not going to pull a result in the Bernabeu. This was the game that I was nervous about because this I thought was the most decisive game for Napoli. Red Star against Napoli in Serbia, which of course, you know, they say that it's one of the hardest stadiums to play at. 0-0, which was...
I watched the game. Napoli played very well. They were not lucky.
They hit a
had
few
so many
posts,
chances.
too.
They
They
had
hit
so
a
many
few
But
chances.
it's not about being lucky. They're in a very tough group. You're playing against, I know, Red Star, I don't know them as well, but come on, you have to win these games. We talk about a lot, Ancelotti, the Ancelotti effect, he's going to help them in Champions League, he's going to do this. To me, you tie this game, you don't win this game, you have 1 foot outside of the Champions League.
No, I think
so.
Ancelotti's going to pull it through.
You have to play PSG, you have to play Liverpool. Both those games, we watched that game too. We're watching them both at the same time. Both of them look really good. Liverpool, extremely hard that you're going to beat them. PSG, another team, not as good. You know, it's definitely beatable. But
PSG, PVF.
PSG.
PSG and
a
Liverpool.
tough group.
You needed to win this game, and Napoli did not win this game, which is unacceptable. For the amount of years that Napoli have been playing in the Champions League, with Ancelotti, with all the players that they have, you should
I was
be winning
disappointed.
this game.
I was very disappointed.
You should be winning
Especially
this game.
Ancelotti.
I get
being
that
there.
moments happen, but this was not a moment that you could slip up, considering the group that you're
I
in.
agree. Even though it's tough.
Antonio said it right, but they did play well. It wasn't like it was a terrible.
I know, that's true.
The only thing is you have to win this game. Ancelotti said after the game, you know, we're in second place
Yeah, I know.
after one game. So I think he has faith in his team. Usually Napoli always steps up. They've always had a rough group stage.
Yeah.
You know, one of the years they were able to
Real Madrid-
go
Real
through,
Madrid.
and then they had Real Madrid
Peter, I think all you need
afterwards.
to do at least tie with one of the two.
Oh, you
and
tie
then
and you
win.
make it interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, you tie against Liverpool.
Yeah, that's
it. That's all
That's
you
it.
need.
PSG,
You
and
just
then
tie
you
against
win the rest.
Liverpool and beat
So what's the
PSG.
Come on,
big
Sally,
deal?
you make it seem like it's
don't worry,
impossible.
but
The
listen,
point,
You have to win
is
this
Napoli,
game.
Napoli, we
They
as
have a
Serie
team.
A,
They have a
have
team.
a team. So we're Serie A fans. We know how Napoli can play.
I'm confident
So-
Napoli's going to pull it.
We'll see what can happen.
I hope I'm wrong. Obviously, we all hope we're wrong. What do you think about did you see it? You didn't
No,
see
no,
it,
I
right?
didn't see the game.
I did.
Yeah.
I watched the game.
You told us that already. We were here together. We were watching together.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, we were all here. We had both games on at the same time. Then Napoli, to cool the nerves a little bit, they beat Torino 3-1. Insigne on the score sheet.
4 goals in 5 games.
4 goals in 5 games.
Napoli killed them, huh?
Napoli killed them.
Torino played like kids.
Funny enough, Mazzari after the game, I don't know if you guys saw, he said that my team looked like the less talented brothers of the players who were playing out there.
He really said it straight.
Mazzari's so old school. This guy, he
Mazzari's
doesn't even
hilarious.
realize
He's
that,
so
that he's
funny,
saying
that
anything
guy.
that's
You know, the
wrong.
funny thing is that Mazzari was coaching Napoli too at some point, and then he's going back to Torino, and he had a couple of very good seasons in Napoli, Mazzari, until then he went to England. Now, he's been facing them again from the opposite side,
Yeah.
sitting on a bench that it's not a Napoli bench, and the guy doesn't want to lose against against them. So he got his ass kicked in the end of the story.
Nothing else to say.
Try me one of those cookies. They're very good.
Also, Ancelotti changed the formation again,
I know.
putting
How many
Simone
times is
back,
that?
and I think every game he's played so far.
I think
Change
that
formation.
what Ancelotti has brought to Napoli is the flexibility. You know, he's able to change the tactics. You know, he started with a 4-2-3-1. He was defending with a 4-4-2. So he's able to change and also get more players involved in his game. Where Sarri, you know, most of the time was always the 4-3-3 and the same, more or less the same players.
Yeah.
So this is what Ancelotti has brought to to Napoli. Also, Insigne is getting 4 goals. And so he's got 4 goals in 5 games. He's playing closer,
More like a forward, right?
yeah, closer to the goal. So maybe he's got a little bit more energy when he's right in front of the goal.
Sure.
If you play
Wide.
wide as a midfielder, you're going back, and you're going back 50, 60 yards all the way back to
Yeah.
defend. So you go up and down, up and down. When you get in front of the goal, sometimes after an hour, you're not as.
You are the gas.
Gaetano,
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, because he scored that goal. The second was it his second goal. Man, the ball came back from the post.
And
he bounced it, boom,
Yeah,
and
it hit the post and goes in.
yeah, nobody. The guy took a shot. Cayón.
right to his
He
left.
came. He
Yeah,
came
yeah,
back,
yeah.
but so fast because he
Yeah.
was right in front of it.
Yeah.
He hit him,
And
and he
hit
shot
the
him
post
like
and
in.
went in.
Yeah.
Ancelotti
Gaetano.
actually said something. Let me say something real quick. Ancelotti actually said something after the Torino game. They switched to a 4-4-2 formation, and they played extremely well. They had a lot of chances. And Ancelotti's like a 4-4-2 suits Napoli better and helps Insigne. He's closer to the net, and he doesn't have to come back as defense as much.
Right.
So he helps in attack even more. And he says he likes that formation a lot, which is interesting.
That's a good point. Gaetano, don't you think that Mancini can use Insigne in the same position pretty much?
He's very secluded in that Zuri, to be honest, all the way on the left wing. He's not
Well,
used properly.
because
when he's
he's
playing in
lost
center
on
midfield under Ventura.
I will use Insigne
That's
as
the
like
easiest
a mezza punta.
He's playing good right now. Let's see how it continues.
Hamsik was also a guy that has been under a lot of criticism too. You know,
I think
they tried changing his
done.
formation.
400 games at Napoli too.
400 games at Napoli. They tried changing his formation a little bit. They tried changing his position a little bit, and he was criticized. So for him to get a goal, it was good for him and his spirits. But let's go to Milan. Dudelange. Your boy. Who scored? Who scored the goal? Who scored the only goal? The
Hey,
guy that we've been telling you
Gonzalo
is your best player.
He's your best player,
Higuain.
but Cutrone is sitting on the
Higuain.
bench. Cutrone is
You
sitting
won
on
the
the bench.
game. You won the game. It wasn't a
Fine.
great game, by the
Fine.
way. This game was.
That could have ended really bad.
I
That
thought
could have
it-
ended as a draw.
I thought it was gonna go more goals for AC
Everyone
Milan.
thought
At the end of the day,
A
Milan.
win is a win, like you guys said.
I
Right?
know.
Okay, when you
No,
win 1-0.
What do you?
No, AC Milan wins 1-0.
Antonio,
You're
You're
playing
playing-
Dudelange.
We're having
playing-
problems
You're playing
over here.
Dudelange.
Okay, Dudelange, okay.
A playing team
Douglas
from
Costa.
Luxembourg.
These guys have other jobs. You know that, right? Some of
Yeah.
them are engineers.
They had to
some
wake
of them are
up to be
plumbers.
an accountant the next day.
So
And I think that we should do
all,
with the
all
Serie
you,
A
all you
players.
do is talk about how much Ronaldo makes compared to these guys. You know, it's the same thing on this field too, and it's only 1-0.
Oh, Marco,
You
there's
know-
a, there's a stat of Higuain. I'm trying to scroll through it really quick based on
About
the
what?
salaries of Higuain.
Oh,
I'm
okay,
trying to
I
buy
remember.
myself some time.
His
You remember?
monthly salary would pay for the entire team, players and staff and management and coaches included. for the
Higuain's
entire-
salary?
for
the
1
year.
month.
For the year.
700K would pay for their entire clubs being run and paid their wages
Wow.
for a
What
year.
about Cristiano Ronaldo's salary?
Oh, I don't even know.
He will play for 10 of them. 10 teams altogether. Don't put Higuain over there.
No, because they played each other.
Oh, they played each other.
That's
Okay,
why.
okay,
That's why.
got you,
That's
got
that's
you.
why we put it. But anyway, nothing to really talk about more than this match. Caldara and Romagnoli, they played together finally, so you were probably happy about that. But their match against Atalanta was an interesting
my
one,
God.
a very interesting one. 2-2 it ended in the final. Number one, again, who scored for Milan too? Who scored?
It was,
Bonaventura.
Higuain and
Higuain.
Bonaventura.
That
But
was a beautiful goal
two
from Higuain.
spectacular goals.
And an offside goal from Bonaventura too, right?
That was
Not
offside.
offside.
That was offside.
No, it was.
That was
That
offside.
was not
That was
offside.
offside.
That was not
That was
offside.
offside.
What do you have to say about that?
Who said it? The
No,
VAR
no, no,
said
no.
it?
What do you got to say about that?
Varfanculo.
And Bonaventura did not celebrate the 2 goals he scored against his former club.
Listen,
That's respect right there.
I was not happy when he was pulled out. I mean, the guy is doing well. He's
Yeah.
not struggling
That's
on the
true.
field. He's actually running a lot of plays. So just keep him over there.
Guys,
Yes,
this is why big time
he has to
Gattuso's
give him
criticized
playing
right
time.
now.
He's been giving playing time to this other big guy that he got from the English Premier
Yeah,
League.
Bakayoko.
Bakayoko. Yeah.
Do you think? I mean, Milan were in the lead, and then Atalanta scored late. By the way, Gonzalo Higuain 3 goals in 3 games. His past 3 games, very
good.
unbelievable. He's the best player for Milan right now. But Gattuso's substitutions. That's what's been the theme of this. Everything that we're getting from the Milan fans is everyone upset with Gattuso. So many messages saying Gattuso out, get rid of him. He doesn't know what he's doing. What is your response to that?
No, absolutely not. It's Gattuso. He has a problem. He's getting the players just a little by little in, just to buy into the the philosophy of the team and the game itself. So he's got several players that he thinks he can use at the same position that he's subbing the starter, and then all he's doing is just try to get him into the groove to play eventually as a starter. Because Gattuso philosophy is he's going to use everyone. For Gattuso, there is no bench, there is no starter. Gattuso values everybody, puts everybody on the same line. That's why I put 9-11 of the players that they played on the UEFA. They were completely they were sitting on the bench the week before.
The substitutions were he put Abate in for Calabria in the 67th minute, 75th minute, which was the big one. He took Bonaventura out for Bakayoko.
That I was not happy.
And then he took Chahanoglu out and put Castillejo, which everyone was very upset about that. They were upset about these substitutions, which I think Gattuso got him wrong. He got him wrong.
He did.
He got
This
him
time
wrong.
he made a mistake. But
He made a mistake.
You know,
I mean, 2-1. You can understand his reasoning for it. At least you take out Bonaventura, more offensive player, and you put in Bakayoko, who's supposed to be that
but put
player
a
that
defender.
wins
If
the
anything,
ball.
put a defender. Just defend your
But
game.
Bakayoko in that midfield,
But he
what
hasn't
he's
been good
supposed
in
to
Serie
be-
A
What
yet.
he's supposed to do is
No.
clean up, win balls,
Right.
and then
Actually, he
start,
was the
so-
one responsible. At some point, we had a 3-on-2 situation over there in front of the goalkeeper, and he made the wrong decision. We could have just put the game away and make it into 3-1, and then we got
Oh,
punished.
Listen.
the soccer game is
What are you
always.
gonna say?
I want to make a comment about your coach,
Yeah,
Gattuso.
yeah.
You know what he said after the game?
What?
He said, we play well, he says, but we can't win. I wish we didn't play so well, but we could get a win. Who does that sound? Now, what does that sound? Which team does that sound?
Oh boy.
What do you mean, which team?
Yeah, which
Antonio,
coach?
the fire is burning in
Yeah.
Antonio right now.
Which
He's about to-
which
he's
which
about to
coach does
unleash.
that sound?
I don't understand what you're saying.
You know
Who's Sarri?
no, Allegri.
Allegri?
Yeah. Yeah, you always say, oh, but Juventus does not play well and they win the games
that how it
and
sounds
there's
like?
no fluidity,
Fluidity.
on the game. But now your coach is saying that.
Listen,
You want to fight you right now?
listen.
Yeah. Yeah.
If he plays Caldara, this is not going to happen again.
Yeah,
Come
Caldara
on,
is
one
gonna.
player.
One player.
Yeah, Caldara is a
One player.
different.
One player.
This is where we lose the
Musacchio to
mic
me is
from.
not a good defender. Musacchio is not a good defender for me. Musacchio could just play 20 minutes. Actually, Musacchio can come as a
Was
as a
Musacchio
sub.
at the
Listen,
fault for both goals?
Since
I
2014,
would say the second goal, yes.
since 2014, you haven't beaten Atalanta.
That's we could have won in the last 2-3 minutes, and we didn't capitalize on what
Close
we
the
did.
game.
Yeah.
So-
Atalanta's always been tough.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
Atalanta-
But the only thing is Milan at home.
Atalanta
exactly.
is a nice.
Atalanta's
team.
a real
It's
team.
It's a good team.
This was another
they-
one that's a good signal too.
Yeah.
The same guy who we talked to, he's like, "Come on, Milan lose to a tie to Atalanta."
No,
It's like,
Atalanta-
Atalanta's a team that
Oh, yeah.
that always is very competitive.
Papu
Deserves to be in
was
Europa
even
League.
out
Papu Gomez.
of
No,
Yeah.
no, he's a good team.
Yeah, you're right. No.
So-
That okay, I get that. But still, when you have that, when you're winning 2-1, imagine the reverse. If Atalanta was 2-1 and then you score 2-2, we'd be here with a little bit of a different attitude, saying, "Oh, Milan was able to come back." So there's always a double-edged sword to what we say.
On a situation like that, you're winning the game 2-1. It's the overtime. Just to put a wall in front of the defense. Just everybody steps back, play defense.
Well, that's what they try to do.
Close the game. No, they didn't do that. He subbed Bonaventura. He put Bakayoko.
Defensive
and
play.
then he put the Kalajaco, whatever is his name over there. Castillejo instead of Çalhanoğlu. Those are offensive players. You need a defender. Put Caldara in next to the other two
You got
defenders.
5 goals, right?
Put Caldara. Make
Mike,
a 5 defense.
Start getting your questions.
Right? That's what I would have done. You have the defender over there. You have the defender score. It's 2-1. 2 minutes before the end of the game. Just put a defender inside. Actually, waste even time. I said, hey, I gotta make a sub.
Putting in an extra defender with 15 minutes.
I would have done that. I will definitely put an extra
5 minutes,
defender.
okay.
Definitely.
Give your boy a call. Okay, Lazio 2 wins. Europa League, Apollon 2-1. And against Genoa 4-1. Immobile went down in history. He's Lazio's 7th most highest goal scorer in their history, which was he jumped over Klose after scoring 2 goals today. And also Piatek. We talked about this kid a lot. The Polish guy. I remember we said it even probably the first podcast of the season to watch out for him because he scored 4 goals in Coppa Italia. What are you going to say? Piatek.
He was just looking at it.
The Capocannoniere chart. Piatek, 5 goals. Second, De Frel, Insigne,
Incredible.
4 goals. Nobody has played their first 4 games since Shevchenko and scored 5 goals in 4 games in their first Serie A season.
Lost no
Since-
penalties, boys.
Since,
That's a big
since
one.
Shevchenko in, I think, 1999. So Piatek, this kid is good. And if you go back to what Genoa's, I'm blanking on who their owner is. Who's their owner? Genoa's
Off the
owner.
top of my head.
I can't.
Preziosi.
Preziosi. There we go. He said I watched Piatek play one time and I bought him on the spot. He said I know that this guy's gonna. I think he said cash out for me, something like
The
that.
new Lewandowski guys,
It's a
get
cash
ready.
cow.
Yeah, something like that. But he said he only had to watch him one time to know that this was going to be a kid. So yes, good job by Lazio, Simone, and the people. They both won the same week. Also, Federico Chiesa in Fiorentina's 3-0 win over Spal. There was a beautiful moment. He scored. He went over to his brother, Lorenzo Chiesa, and he gave him a hug. And his dad, Enrico, was watching also from the stands. And 10 years ago, there's a picture of Enrico Chiesa going over to his son when he scored a goal when he was playing.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
I'll show you it
It's
real
pretty
quick.
crazy.
But beautiful moment in that match, and there's a lot of family moments. Look, you see this? He was the ball boy, and his dad went over to him when he was playing in 2008.
Wow.
So that was
his,
a nice moment.
his brother's 14 years old, right?
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's 14 years old, and the father said that the brother is going to be better than
Even better.
even
Damn.
better.
Inter better go after
So
him.
he put a little pressure on
Lorenzo.
on this guy,
Oh, Federico.
on Federico.
Yeah, he was the ball boy.
Hopefully, he didn't put too
Playing
much
mind
pressure
games.
on the.
Hey, pressure is
14
good a
old.
little bit. Also, Parma. Gervinho is unstoppable
wow.
in the Serie A.
That guy's
I love
incredible.
This is a guy,
Fantastic goal. I mean, that's
has 3 lungs, that guy.
unbelievable goal.
guys. Gervinho is a real deal. We've always loved him. We've always followed him after he left Roma in China, and he came back.
Why Roma let him go? What's the reason for them to let him go?
They didn't really let him go. Gervinho wanted to go. He wanted to go
Money.
to China.
Money.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say. Anyway, Gervinho, he also commented on our picture too
He
after
follows us on
we
social
posted about
media.
it. He has a
Yeah.
culture shirt. He has one of our
does?
culture
Yeah, very
shirts.
good.
He posted about it too that he has it. He commented on our picture. So Gervinho, we always have a soft spot for Gervinho. We'll give him a little bit extra. I thought it was interesting. Cagliari's coach Maran after the match, he said, Gervinho, what happened? He goes, he's unstoppable. That's it.
Oh, he's fast.
Guys, he ran like
He is
70
fast.
meters.
I
He
think it
went
was 70 meters.
3/4 of the field and he scored himself.
He's unstoppable. He loves the Serie A.
But against every team, against Juventus, he
Guys.
was, against all the Serie A games, he was incredible.
I'll quote what Michael said after this happened, and Michael was very happy. He said, "This is why I like Parma and why I like Parma this season because they spent money in the right places and they signed players who know the Serie A." And he said, "This is the example smaller teams should be looking at." Yeah, Parma has more pull because Parma is Parma and they have that
Historical
name.
team.
But still, they came from Serie B to Serie A. They're still not even
Serie
playing.
B, they came from all. They got big.
You know what I mean.
I know. I'm just saying. It's
They
incredible
still got
story.
Cicciretti, Biabiani, Inglese, and
haven't even been
and
playing,
Gervinho, who
Cicciretti.
haven't all played together yet. So this is a Parma that
Listen, must be the
Limitless.
must be the Parmigiano and the Grana Padano that they eat those guys.
Yeah, he had a
So,
little
and
piece
the
of cheese and he ran the whole
and
field.
the
back around,
prosciutto and the
right?
prosciutto.
Gervinho loves Italy, and
the-
Gervinho always plays well in Italy.
That guy's eating well
This-
over there in Parma.
even Miguel was over and he was watching the match and he was like, Gervinho is so much fun to watch.
telling you.
So yeah, he missed the food when he's in China. He missed the food, so he had to come back to Italy. And he's like, listen, I gotta play.
You go from dumplings to tortellini and tagliatelle and bolognese. You kidding me?
But also, Roberto Inglese. Nice
Inglese.
pickup, man.
Yeah.
He was playing with Napoli.
He's
in the
very
preseason.
consistent.
Very good
He's
player.
scoring goals every
Yeah,
game.
but
Parma's doing the right things.
He's a solid
Let's
player.
go to the Napoli. I want
Last thing, also Gilardino officially retired from playing football. He said that he was looking for a team that was going to be competitive. He wasn't able to find a team, so
He was playing in Serie B, right?
Gilardino retired. Yeah, he was at Spezia, I think, and he's actually, I don't know if you guys know, only 3 players from our World Cup team are still playing. De Rossi, Buffon, and Barzagli. So we lost one. We lost Gilardino today. It's so sad that our 2006 team is slowly going down, but when De Rossi was like 24 at the time when he won the World Cup, right? Something like that.
12
So
years ago,
Gilardino,
think about it.
what?
It's already 12 years.
Yeah,
2006.
crazy.
You gotta freeze time over
I know.
here.
That is too long.
It feels
I'm
like
telling
yesterday.
you. Oh, jeez.
What was Gilardino? What do you think about
Well,
Gilardino?
Gilardino was a good player. I mean, every team that he played for AC Milan. He played for several
Many
great
teams,
Parma.
many teams.
Oh man, they did very well everywhere.
Fiorentina,
But
right?
Champions League, World Cup.
you know, there is nothing that good things to say about him. He always played his heart out, and you know, this is the type of player that we should be looking forward.
Yeah,
to put
the
in
violin.
The classic goal scorer celebration.
Can never forget that
Right.
in the World Cup
Oh,
when he
yeah.
did that. A lot of people on our post are saying, very underrated. Guy that
great
never really
player.
got, talked about
Well-
amongst like the best,
Yeah.
but a guy that was always there and
He
was
had a
always
little
scoring.
hard time with Milan. There's, he was fantastic on Parma, hard time in Milan. Then he found himself in Fiorentina. He's one of those goal scorers that, like Inzaghi type.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
He's
You know how to find the
area
net.
And he'll look to
You know,
score.
yeah, he was always there.
Gervinho, I was gonna say, I got Gervinho on my mind. Jorginho, he broke a little bit of a record, even though Chelsea didn't win. Sarri's Chelsea. He was averaged a pass every 30 seconds in the Premier League. It was the most in their history for the most passes from a single player. So Gervinho, he had 180 passes,
Jorginho.
90%.
Said Jorginho
I
again.
said Jorginho again. Jorginho. So yeah, I know a lot of people were criticizing. Maybe they're a little bit lateral passes. But I also Chelsea. What was it? I almost said that Chelsea won in the Champions League.
But it shows how control he is of that
now-
game. He's like the
now-
key to Chelsea.
So Chelsea. No, Sarri. He's for the first time he had a stop, not against a big team, but against an average team. So.
So
we'll
did your
see.
boy Mourinho.
Yeah,
You
West
can't win
Ham,
every
right?
game.
I mean, you
Can't
can win
win
every
every
game. You
Yeah.
should be winning the smaller
Oh my
small
God.
West
teams.
Ham is a good team.
So I just hope that this guy here doesn't make the same mistake that he made in Napoli, and he uses all the bench, use it wisely and not burn all the players out. That's what I think. I hope it does not happen when you play in England for English Premier League. So. Can we talk about Simone Verdi? I liked what he did
Say it.
in Napoli. Oh my goodness gracious! This guy here, he was in Bologna last year, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh my goodness! Does he play for the Italian national team? I haven't seen him.
I think he got called up but never really played.
This kid here, I think, is the next.
Casano.
No, Cassano. Cassano can never be replaced. He could be the next, great midfielder.
Yeah.
Because
How old
it's
is he? He's not so
Simone
young.
Verdi? No, Simone Verdi is 24 or 25.
He's,
no
a
more than that.
he's a forward. No?
He's like a winger.
Winger for.
Yeah.
Winger forward, but
And
an
he,
excellent player.
26.
He-
26.
Yeah.
He's not the youngest.
He
right?
just turned 26 though. To be
I
fair.
think he kicks both with the left and the
Wonderful
right,
player.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
He-
right. I
he
remember his
scored.
free kicks. That's
His
right.
free
Yeah,
kicks,
yeah,
left
yeah.
or right,
Yeah.
doesn't matter to him.
I remember the same match. He
Um,
scored
yeah.
one with his left and one with his
If
right.
you want, I wanted to say
say
a
it,
little
go
bit
for it.
about the
Rizzoli.
VAR. They interviewed Rizzoli, who's the guy in charge of the VAR, is a very, very smart guy. And they trying to understand, like us, some of the questions about the VAR and how it works. So they asked him about Torino against Roma when, if you remember, when Fazio he pushed Fox from behind, but they didn't go to the VAR and it was not a penalty or anything. Many thought that it was a penalty. So what happens in a case like that is you have the referee did not make any calls. Immediately the VAR looks at what happened, and if for the VAR they think that there was nothing there, then they're not going to tell anything to the referee. Whatever the referee decides, which he decided it was not a foul, then it stays not a foul. But the VAR does look and tries to see if there was anything there. So that was Torino against Roma. Then they asked him a question about Sassuolo against Cagliari. There was the handball is the most complicated call because there's got to be intention. Mm-hmm. Anyway, there was a handball inside the area. The referee did not call a penalty. So what happens is the VAR looks at it and it tells the referee, I think you should go and look at it. They don't tell them it's a penalty. They don't tell them it's not a penalty. They just tell them, hey, we think you should go and look at it. So what happens? He went, he looked at it, and then he said it was a penalty. So that's how it worked at that time. Why, you want to?
No, this is a good finish up.
Okay. Then they went Sassuolo against Empoli. There was the ball was on the right side past the midfield. The guy is going all the way to the right wing. It looks like the ball went out of bounds, but the linesman did not call it. So the ball went out of bounds, it looks like. The guy kept going to the right wing, he made a cross, and they scored a goal. So the VAR looks at that, and they look at it all different angles, but they could not determine that the whole ball was out, because even if 1 centimeter of the ball touches the line,
the ball is technically
the ball
inside.
is good.
Yeah.
So they look at it in different angles. They couldn't determine. If you look at it at a speed, a regular speed, it looks like the ball was out. So at that time, the VAR evaluated it. They didn't make any call because the referee did not make any call, and they could not determine that the ball was out.
Then the call on the field stands.
Then
That's what they do in baseball.
Right.
That's what they do in baseball. If you cannot really say 100% that
Then
you out.
Then there was another game, Spal against Atlanta. There was a foul.
Today? No. Weeks ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Spal against Atlanta. So you look at the play. The guy is at the edge of the penalty area. He goes inside the penalty area, and Patagna puts the foot in front of him. So he goes to kick the ball. He falls. If you look at, you can swear it's inside the area. Tardelli said it was a penalty. Sebino Nela said it was a penalty. Rizzoli, who's watching the game, he was at that game, he said it was a penalty. All the people watching the game, they said there was a penalty, and all the newspapers reported that it was a penalty. When they slow motion the action, the player was inside the area. Half of his leg was inside the area. But if this was the line, when he went to kick the ball, if this is the line, the guy, no, the ball, everything was inside the area
except for the ball.
Except for his leg. So the guy hit him over here, right 1 centimeter before the line. So when he went like this and he went to kick, he stopped him just 1 centimeter before the line. But his whole body was inside the area, the ball was inside the area, everything was inside the area, but the kick, but only this much of his leg was outside the area, and that's what the guy got him. It's impossible to determine that it was not a penalty unless you froze the action, and once you froze the action, you saw that actually was outside the area.
Like this, I wouldn't be upset though.
Yeah.
I think that we're more upset about other kinds of calls. If you get a centimeter and 19 people can't tell where it is.
But Gaetano, we're going back to the same thing that we've been saying all along in this blog that we do. So again, this VAR over here, we still left the referee making the decision. He's supposed to be the last person to decide. is if you have people on the VAR, and those are the people looking at the slow motion and looking exactly what's going on, whether you win or you out, they freeze the frame on the TV. Those are the people making the decision. The referee, I mean, the coaches, they can challenge the call just by throwing a flag or by just waving to somebody.
So
No.
they did talk about challenging, having the sideline challenge. He said the challenge at this point it's not worth to challenge because the VAR is evaluating what's going on the field, and they're telling you what's going on the field, and they're telling the referee
to look at it.
To look at if it needs to be looked at it. So to have somebody challenge something that it's supposed to be clear, except for a handball, which could be subjective or because of the intention. But if you have an offside, it's either offside or it's not offside. It's a black and white.
Yeah.
You have a straight line. You look at the straight line, and you can determine. There's nothing to look at it when it's an offside. There's no need for the referee to go look at it.
No, he gets the call.
He gets the goal. It was offside because it's something
either or, yes or
right.
no.
It's
Yeah.
very objective.
Yeah, exactly.
It's either or. So there's no
Gaetano.
need. It's only when
No need for reasoning.
right.
Here's
There's
the deal.
right.
Yes or
Gaetano.
no?
So this is what they reported, that at this point having the coach challenging it is not.
And also, challenges could act as like a tactical ploy. 'cause
Peter,
you could
And
challenge,
also,
waste time,
and
all
one
this
more
stuff.
thing that you said before, they did a statistics the last 5 games of last year and the first 5 games of this year. There were many more times that they went to the VAR the first 5 games of this year than the last 5 games of last year. Everybody thinks the opposite.
I think the opposite.
right.
I still
Alright.
feel
But it was a statistic.
But maybe they did it at more
But
crucial
this is
moments
what's
last
still
year. That's why I
missing,
felt.
Peter. I don't know. I think you and we agree on this thing here. Those we have a different faction over here. I think
Did we even say
I
anything?
think the
I
VAR,
didn't
as
give
it
my
is
opinion.
right now, it's always left to the interpretation of the referee, regardless of the fact that the ball is in or is out, regardless whether it's offside or whether it's not offside, regardless whether it's the handball is intentionally or not intentionally. The referee should not have anything to say. If you are on the VAR, if you look at the baseball, if you look at the tennis, if you look at the football, when somebody throws a flag and they challenge the play, they said, hey, at the end of when they review, the people on top of there, when they finish up to review, they don't ask the referee, what do you think? They say,
yeah.
this is it.
But
You're
soccer,
right or
but,
you're wrong.
but soccer is not tennis.
No, no.
And soccer is not football. They
I
have-
disagree with you.
All right.
I know, I disagree 100%.
They have-
There are people on the VAR. You should put in 5 people. You make the decision 3-2, and whoever the majority wins on that decision. The referee is a biased person. Should not be making the decision of what happened on the field. Okay? In tennis, there is a chair umpire. What they do, they run the play. They see whether the ball is in or out. And then, they don't need the referee over there because they have a video. And the ball shows exactly whether you meet the line, whether you're inside or whether you're outside. 1 second. In football, it's exactly the same thing. You never see the referee. The referee, all they do, they put the mic on and it says, after the review, not their review, after the play was reviewed, it was decided that this is what happened. Okay? They don't make any decision. In baseball, it's exactly the same thing. Baseball, what they do, is that an home run? Is that an home run? Did the guy touch the plate before it was tagged, yes or not? That's all they do. The refs, they do not make decision. It's the VAR. It's
Guys,
the
we
video
talked about this
replay.
before, though. We
This
talked
is,
about
I
this
think,
before.
what's wrong.
We agree. We talked about this before.
Let me
Let's
just-
wrap this up.
Are we on the same line?
Yes, we're all on the same
Are
line.
we-
Let's wrap this
we
up,
say
Mike.
this every,
Last question, real quick.
Okay, one question. Is Di Francesco going to get sacked? Apparently, he has 2 games left to prove himself.
Let's just say yes or no.
Yes or no for each one, and who's going to replace
After
him? if
these
you
2
think?
games?
After these next 2 games.
If he loses versus Lazio.
No, what do you think? Do you think it's going to happen?
Yes.
You think he's going to
If
get
he
sacked?
loses to Lazio, it's sacked.
No.
No.
If he loses, he's
No,
out.
there's no if he loses. What do you guys think, though?
If he loses, if he wins,
Do you think he's going to win? Do you think he's going to? That's what I'm trying to say.
It's not getting
Lazio
sacked.
Roma, I think he's gonna lose. So
So
he
he's
might
going to get sacked? Okay, sacked? No.
No.
Guys,
He's not
I
gonna
know.
get sacked.
No, he's gonna beat Lazio.
I say sack.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I like him, but they're not playing.
You think
good.
he's
I
gonna get sacked?
I think he lost the locker room, to be honest.
No, he's not gonna
I
get
think he
sacked.
lost the locker room. I don't think he has it
I don't think he's
anymore.
going to be losing many games.
Okay, we'll see.
Anyway.
I think
Intense long episode.
so
We got
crazy
Serie A that's on if you're watching when this is uploaded today and then tomorrow and then even until Thursday. So a lot of football to cover.
and the shirts are gonna be up right after
And
this
the
podcast.
Varfanculo, if you want a Varfanculo shirt, Peter was asking, you want one?
Yeah.
So if you want one, you can go to ItalianFootballTV.com. Anyway, as always, thank you for watching. Rate the podcast if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're on YouTube. And as always, thank you for watching. We'll talk to you soon.
Wait, it's not over yet. Hey,
No,
guys,
no,
wait. You say, hey, guys, this is about you, okay? It's your voice. It's inside this podcast. What we're saying over here is just personal opinion, but what's your opinion is the most... Hey, we didn't put any calls from the guys.
Wait, what?
Questions.
Any
questions.
question?
Yeah.
Oh,
We did, right? We did
what's the
one.
question? Oh, the Di Francesco.
Yeah,
Oh,
we couldn't ask that many. There's a lot
Alright,
sometimes.
so we're
And
running out of
answered a lot-
time?
We answered a lot of them when we were talking.
Everything is an opinion except what you say. Yours is fact.
Yeah, my fact. Mine is the law. Mine is the
Snapple
law.
fact.
Okay, keep watching the blog. Keep watching the blog. Don't forget. Yeah, give me one more cookie. Don't finish this. Give me one more cookie. All right.
Thank you for watching, guys.
Bye.
Ciao.
Take an extra
Ciao.
one. Take one to go. Take another one.
He's gonna be jumping off the walls, this guy.